Section 13 of the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, translated by Courtney Langdon. This Librivox recording is in the public domain. Inferno, Canto 13. The Seventh Circle, the Second Ring. Violence against oneself. Suicides and Squanderers.
Not yet had Nessus reached the other side, when we had set our steps within a wood, which was not marked by any path whatever. No green leaves there, but leaves of gloomy hue; no smooth and straight, but gnarled and twisted twigs; nor was there any fruit, but poison thorns. No thickets rough and dense as these are owned by those wild beasts that hate the tilled estates that lie between the Cecina and Corneto. Herein those ugly harpies make their nest, who drove the Trojans from the Strophades with gloomy prophecies of future loss. Wide wings they have, and human necks and faces; their feet are clawed, and feathered their great bellies. They utter wailings on the uncouth trees. My kindly teacher then began to say,
Before thou enter any further, know that in the second ring thou art, and wilt be until thou reach the horrid plain of sand. Hence look around thee well, and things thou'lt see that from my words would take away belief.
Moans I heard uttered upon every side, but saw no person who might make them there. Hence, utterly confused, I checked my steps. I think he thought I thought that all those voices were uttered from among those thorny trunks by people hiding there on our account. The teacher therefore said,
If thou break off a little twig from any of these trees, the thoughts thou hast will all be proven false.
I then stretched out my hand a little way, and from a sturdy thorn tree plucked a twig, whereat its trunk cried out,
Why dost thou rend me?
Then, after growing dark with blood, its cry began again.
Why dost thou break me off? Hast thou no spirit of compassion in thee? Men we were once, and now our stocks become. Thy hand ought surely to have more pity, even if the souls of serpents we had been.
As from a fresh green log that at one end is being burned, and at the other drips and makes a hissing with the escaping air, so from the broken twig together issued both words and blood. I therefore dropped the end and stood dumbfounded like a man who fears.
Had he before been able to believe, O wounded soul?
Replied my sage to him,
What in my verses only he has seen, he had not set his hand on thee, whereas the thing's incredibility has made me lead him to do what I myself regret. But tell him who thou wast, that he, by way of compensation, may refresh thy fame up in the world, where he can still return.
The trunk.
With sweet words thou dost entice me, that I cannot keep still. Be not annoyed if I am tempted to a little talk. I am the man who once held both the keys of Frederick's heart, and he who turned them round so gently, locking and unlocking it, that most men from his secrets I withheld. So faithful was I to my glorious charge, that for its sake I lost both sleep and strength. The courtesan who never turned away her harlot eyes from Caesar's dwelling place, a common form of death and vice of courts, gainst me inflamed the minds of every one, and those on fire inflamed Augustus so that my glad honours turned to wretched grief. My mind, to vent its feelings of disdain and thinking to avoid disdain by death, made me unjust against myself, the just. By this tree's uncouth roots I swear to you, I never broke the faith I owed my lord, who so deserving was of reverence. And to the world should one of you return, let him assist my memory, which still lies crushed beneath the blow which envy gave it.
A while he waited, then the poet said,
Since he is still, lose not thy chance, but speak and ask him other questions if thou like.
Whence I to him, Ask thou again whate'er thou thinkest satisfactory to me, for I could not, such pity stirs my heart. Hence he began again.
So may this man do freely for thee what thy words request, imprisoned spirit. May it please thee still to tell us how within these knotted trunks a soul is bound. And tell us, if thou canst, if any from such limbs is ever freed.
Thereat the trunk blew hard, and afterward that wind was changed into the following words.
Briefly shall a reply be made to you. Whenever a wild spirit leaves the body, from which itself hath torn itself away, Minos commits it to the seventh ravine. Into the woods it falls, nor is a place allotted to it, but where fortune hurls it, there like a grain of spuds it germinates. It grows into a sapling and wild tree. The harpies, feeding then upon its leaves, cause pain to it, and for the pain a vent. Like other spirits for our spoils will come, though not that any be reclothed therewith, for 'tis not right to have what one casts off. We'll drag them with us here, and then our bodies will all around the dismal wood be hung, each on the thorn tree of its hostile shade.
We still were giving heed unto the trunk, believing that it wished to tell us more, when we were startled by a sudden noise, as likewise he is who perceives a boar and pack of hounds approach his hunting post, and hears the crashing of the beasts and boughs. And lo, two on the left, who naked were and scratched, and fled away so rapidly they shattered all the branches of the wood. The one ahead,
"Now hurry, hurry, Death!"
and the other one, who thought himself too slow, cried,
Lano, not so knowing were thy legs, when running from Del Topo's battle jousts.
And then, perhaps because of failing breath, he there made of himself and of a bush a group. The wood behind these two was full of swarthy bitches, ravenous and fleet as greyhounds are when from their chains unleashed. Into the one who crouched they set their teeth, and tore him into pieces bit by bit. They then made off with those his suffering limbs. Thereat my escort took me by the hand, and led me to the bush, which all in vain out of its bleeding rents was shedding tears.
O Giacomo,
It said,
the son Andrea, what boots it thee to make a screen of me? And how am I to blame for thy bad life?
when over him my teacher stopped, he said,
Who then wast thou, that through so many gashes art blowing forth with blood such painful speech?
and he to us,
O spirits that have come in time to see the unbecoming havoc, which from me thus hath torn away my leaves, collect them at the foot of my sad bush. I to that town belonged which for the Baptist changed its first patron, wherefore he, for this, will always make her mournful with his art. And were it not that on the Arno's bridge there lingers still some little glimpse of him, those townsmen who rebuilt her afterward, over the ashes left by Attila, had caused that work to be performed in vain, I made myself a gibbet of my house.
End of Inferno, Canto 13.